When a single empty chair can echo louder than any speech, you know something's amiss. That's exactly how the world felt when the First Lady's seat remained unoccupied at Charlie Kirk's memorial in Arizona. As dignitaries murmured consolations and a flickering candle cast soft light over framed photos of the late influencer, one absence dominated every whispered conversation and social media feed. Melania Trump was nowhere to be seen, and suddenly an intimate funeral became the epicenter of national debate. In a moment when empathy and solidarity are expected to transcend politics, the vacant chair stood as a silent question mark. Why didn't she show up? Inside the suite, the atmosphere was solemn yet restrained. Deep red roses and crisp white lilies framed a polished casket, and rows of chairs formed a quiet corridor for mourners. Soft instrumental music drifted through the space, lending a gentle backdrop to hushed farewells. On one side, bereaved family members clutched tissues and exchanged condolences. On the other, a discreet security detail kept watch. At the front, a portrait of Charlie Kirk gazed serenely over those gathered, while the late influencer's children sat close to their mother, Erica Kirk, visibly overcome by both grief and the weight of public attention. Former President Donald Trump arrived with measured steps, his expression a blend of solemn respect and political poise. Flanked by his son Eric, he approached the podium and delivered a eulogy that rendered the room quiet enough to hear the softest sob. Trump hailed Kirk as the greatest evangelist for American liberty, and proclaimed him a martyr now for American freedom. His voice, steady and firm, carried an unmistakable blend of personal loss and political symbolism, underscoring the bond between conservative thought leaders and the Trump movement. When he finished speaking, those present rose to their feet, offering a muted standing ovation as he stepped down to embrace Erica Kirk. Erica's eulogy followed, her voice cracking under the strain of heartbreak. She recounted the last frantic minutes of her flight home with her children, screaming, tired and stunned by sudden loss, until Second Lady Usha Vance leaned over to offer a few simple words: "You will get through these 15 minutes and the next 15 after that." That moment of unexpected comfort, Erica said, had been what pulled her back from utter despair. Tears glistened on her cheeks as she praised the solace found in Usha's quiet empathy, and by acknowledging that small act of kindness, she reminded everyone present that true consolation often comes from personal connection rather than grand gestures. Yet as the tributes flowed and the family drew closer together on that stage, one name went unspoken: Melania Trump. She did not appear at the service or in any of the private moments before or after the formal ceremonies. Instead, the only recognition came through a poetic statement posted later on X, in which she expressed sorrow for Charlie's children, raised with stories instead of memories, photographs instead of laughter, and paid homage to his symbolic reminder that compassionate awareness elevates family, love, and country. Those carefully chosen lines hinted at care but lacked the immediacy of shared grief in person, leaving many to wonder why she chose absence over presence. Within minutes of news outlets broadcasting footage of the empty chair, social media ignited. Some users denounced Melania's decision as a betrayal, insisting that her silence and no-show betrayed both loyalty to her husband's political allies and basic humanity. Others cautioned against rushed judgment, speculating that she might have been unwell, observing COVID-19 protocols, or simply overwhelmed by the idea of attending an emotionally charged event. A third camp called for restraint, reminding critics that private grief is exactly that, private, and that a statement, however concise, can sometimes carry more meaning than a fleeting appearance under glaring spotlights. Behind every social media outcry, several plausible explanations emerged to explain Melania's absence. Health concerns, whether related to a mild illness or precautionary measures against lingering COVID-19 risks, could have prompted a deliberate choice to stay home. Public figures often opt for self-isolation at the first sign of symptoms, particularly when minors are involved. Then there's the matter of security. Transporting the First Lady, along with her teenage son Barron, into a semi-public venue raises logistical complexities. Secret Service agents must account for crowd control, emergency contingencies, and potential threats, all within a confined indoor space where tensions might run high. Barron Trump's absence also drew attention. At 17, he's long been shielded from intense media glare, and attending a high-profile funeral would have thrust him back into the lens just when his family likely wanted to safeguard his privacy. In an age where camera phones can turn any gathering into a viral moment, keeping Barron out of the spotlight can be seen as a protective measure, allowing him to grieve without the pressure of performative mourning. By opting not to attend, the Trumps may have hoped to preserve a sense of normalcy for the teenager during a day already heavy with sorrow. Another factor in the decision-making calculus could simply be respect for the family's wishes. Erica Kirk may have envisioned a more intimate, faith-centered service without the spectacle of a full Trump entourage. A large political presence, cameras, aides, and formal introductions might have overshadowed the personal nature of the event. In choosing not to attend, Melania may have been allowing the Kirk family to mourn on their own terms, recognizing that sometimes less is more when it comes to honoring personal loss. History offers precedent for such absences. First ladies have occasionally declined to attend private funerals or memorials for those outside their immediate family or official state duties. For example, during the Bush administration, Laura Bush missed Senator Strom Thurmond's memorial, citing illness and scheduling conflicts. Michelle Obama sent warm condolences to Barbara Bush's service without appearing in person. In each case, the decision was framed around practical concerns rather than personal disconnect, reshaping public expectations about what attendance at a funeral truly signifies. As the echo of that empty chair rippled through the media, 3 lasting truths emerged. First, no definitive reason has been publicly offered, leaving room for speculation but no confirmed narrative. Second, there are multiple valid explanations: health, security, privacy, respect, that could justify a private citizen's choice to skip an event. And third, the symbolism of absence often outshines any spoken words. In our image-driven culture, the sight of a vacant seat creates a story of its own, one that attendees, viewers, and commentators all rush to fill with their own interpretations. For the Kirk family, the day's true moments of solace came not from political pomp but from personal comfort. Erica's gratitude toward Usha Vance and the small acts of compassion offered by friends and fellow mourners formed the core of what she needed to heal. President Trump's eulogy provided a solemn tribute, but it was that simple reassurance, shared in a cramped airplane cabin amid tears and disarray, that etched itself most indelibly into Erica's heart. At the end of the service, as soft music guided mourners past the casket for a final farewell, the empty chair remained. Its significance depended on the lens through which one viewed it, a sign of neglect or a conscious choice to allow private grief its space. Perhaps it served as a reminder that true empathy can be expressed in words as powerfully as in presence. Or maybe it simply spoke of the delicate balance public figures must strike between personal loss and public duty. In any case, the empty seat will linger in memory far longer than any speech, prompting us all to consider what it means to show up for one another in moments that matter most.